Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Zhou Zhou looked at the 6 Dharma spells from the Chaos Origin Manual. According to the Chaos Origin Manual, it could be called a spell or a Chaos Dao technique. Among these 6 chaotic Dao techniques, the Chaos Spear technique, the Chaos Beast Hunter Axe technique, the Chaos Ancient Armor technique, and the Chaos Battle Dance were all Dao techniques used for daily battles. Only the Chaotic Healing technique was used to heal injuries. According to the Chaos Origin Manual, the Chaos humans originally lived in chaos. Their lives were somewhat similar to primitive tribes. They needed to hunt chaos beasts in the chaos environment to maintain their lives. And so, these combat Dao techniques and healing Dao techniques were born. The only special thing was the chaotic Dao ritual. Zhou Zhou looked at the specific information of this Dao technique. Skill name: Chaos Dao Worship Ceremony. Skill quality: Extraordinary Tier Elementary Grade. Skill description: Holding a grand sacrifice to an unknown existence to increase the level of your chaotic human bloodline. Note: the unknown existence has died. This skill cannot be used. Zhou Zhou looked at this skill and frowned slightly. So it's a useless skill, but what is the unknown existence? He was curious. Then, he shook his head and did not think too much about it. It was obvious that this unknown existence was too far away from him. There was no point in thinking too much. At this moment, Aaliyah came over and said that Suan had come to see him. "Greetings, Your Majesty," Suan said respectfully. "How's the use of the Book of God's Spirit?" Zhou Zhou asked. "I didn't let His Majesty down. I have completely absorbed the power of the Book of God's Spirit and obtained the inheritance of the God of Shadow and Assassination," Suan said respectfully. In addition, his ability introduction also stated that the other party had obtained the inheritance of a God spirit and was climbing the path to becoming a god. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. With Suan's Master God Tier Advanced Grade aptitude, becoming a god in the future was a sure bet, a shoe-in. Coupled with his newly upgraded Epic Tier Blessing of the War God, Suan's speed of becoming a god would definitely increase. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before a god spirit appears in his territory. After that, Suan and him walked out of the beginner-grade Lord's Paradise and found Bai Yun. Then, they asked her to organize the troops and wait for the upcoming war with the Underworld Bark Kingdom. Meanwhile, he went to the Aurora Kingdom alone through the spatial teleportation array. In the capital of the Aurora Kingdom, Zhongqian Palace, Zhou Zhou saw Li Yuangan and hundreds of Aurora Kingdom ministers. When he entered, everyone's eyes immediately fell on him. To Zhou Zhou's surprise, he would have thought that some of these ministers would look at him with hostility and coldness. He was here to replace the old king, Li Yuangan after all. In the end, the gazes of these ministers were filled with anticipation. It was as if they welcomed him to enter the Aurora Kingdom. Zhou Zhou felt strange. However, he did not say anything. At this moment, Li Yuangan, who was sitting on the throne, suddenly stood up and cupped his hands. "Greetings, King of the Blazing Sun. Greetings, King of the Blazing Sun." The ministers followed suit and said respectfully, "You're too kind, everyone." Zhou Zhou was stunned for a moment before smiling. He was neither servile nor overbearing. He wore the Emperor and Dragon Emperor robe and had the sword of Xin Yuan wrapped around his waist. Invisibly, he exuded the dignity of an emperor, making the Aurora Kingdom officials bow down to him. The Aurora Kingdom officials were both amazed and in disbelief. If I didn't know the trajectory of his growth along the way, I would find it hard to believe that this is a new king who has just become a king. Looking at his temperament and actions, those who don't know might think that he's a peerless emperor who has been in charge of politics for many years. It's rare, really rare. Maybe this is what it means to be a born king. The Aurora Kingdom officials sighed in their hearts. "King of the Blazing Sun, come up and sit down." Li Yuangan pointed to another throne next to his. Zhou Zhou nodded, then walked up and sat on their respective thrones with Li Yuangan. Li Yuangan looked at Zhou Zhou. The more he looked at him, the more satisfied he became. As expected of the king, he acknowledged. He originally thought that even if the other party would attack the Tang Kingdom, They would only attack the Taiyan kingdom after taking over the Aurora kingdom and integrating all the forces of both sides. Unexpectedly, not only did Zhou Zhou not do that, but he also relied on his own strength to not only crush the entire Taiyan kingdom, but also defeat the people of foreign races sent by the Titan kingdom and the Netherbark kingdom. He had crushed the elite legions of the three kingdoms head-on with his own strength. Moreover, he had suffered very few losses. Most importantly, at that time, the Lord of the Blazing Sun had not even established his own kingdom. He was only a lord of all races. Such a terrifying battle record. It was unprecedented in the entire history of the human race. It would probably be very difficult for no one to come again. In addition, he had recently learned that the other party had become the strongest lord of all races in the Supreme Will event. The more Li Yuangon thought about it, the more he felt that this young man was unbelievable. He was now the most outstanding elite of the human race. In the future, he would definitely be the strongest backbone of the human race. Li Yuangon was very optimistic about Zhou Zhou's future. At the thought of this, he was even more at ease about handing the Aurora Kingdom over to the other party. Under the leadership of the other party, the citizens of the Aurora Kingdom would definitely live a better and more peaceful life. At this thought, Li Yuangon suddenly stood up with a smile and came to Zhou Zhou. He flipped his right hand, and a kingdom token appeared in his hand. Everyone's attention was immediately attracted. Zhou Zhou was no exception. This is the kingdom token of our Aurora Kingdom. Li Yuangon looked at Zhou Zhou and smiled. It's okay if you want to keep the Aurora Kingdom and become the king of two kingdoms. Or you can directly incorporate the Aurora Kingdom's territory into the Blazing Sun Kingdom's territory. That's your choice. I won't interfere. From now on, I'm no longer the king of the Aurora Kingdom, but an ordinary subject. You will have everything in the Aurora Kingdom. With that, he handed the kingdom token to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou stood up and took the kingdom token with both hands. A text notification appeared. Cerulean Planet's entire channel lord announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun for successfully conquering a kingdom-level faction. Reputation rating +3. Cerulean Planet World Channel announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. Cerulean Planet World Channel announcement. Congratulations to the Lord of the Blazing Sun. When Zhou Zhou saw the Lord announcement on the entire Cerulean Planet channel, he could not help but raise his eyebrows. It turned out that there would be a Lord announcement on the entire Cerulean Planet channel as long as a kingdom was conquered. It seemed that other lords would have a chance to appear on this announcement in the future. Zhou Zhou did not pay much attention to it. He had already been on such announcements too many times. He no longer cared much about the small announcements made by such races. In any case, there were not many rewards. Greetings to the new king. At this moment, Li Yuangon said solemnly to the ministers in the hall. Greetings, my king, Xin. When the ministers heard this, they knelt down without hesitation and shouted. Their actions were neat, clearly prepared. Zhou Zhou looked at these ministers, and a smile appeared on his face. With a glance, he realized that the lowest level of these people was Diamond Tier Elementary Grade. There were more than 20 extraordinary tier officials. Even though most of them were lifestyle professionals, it was still quite rare. As expected of an elite official of the Aurora Kingdom. After he asked everyone to stand up, he looked at Li Yuangon. Father-in-law, do you have a treasure vault here? He asked telepathically. The Aurora Kingdom's treasury could be said to be the place where he valued the Aurora Kingdom the most. Li Yuangon was stunned. Then, the smile on his face became even more obvious. Yes, I'll take you there. Okay. The two of them did not say much. After letting the ministers retreat for the time being, they walked towards the kingdom's treasure vault together. On the way to the Aurora Kingdom's treasure vault, Zhou Zhou also looked at the other unread notifications. Lord Talent notification. Congratulations, you have captured a kingdom and triggered the White Silver Tier Lord Talent, Embrace of the Conqueror. You have obtained the loyalty of a hero with an extraordinary tier hero fate level slot. Note, this hero is rushing to your territory. Please note the latest new subject list. The Lord of the In-Class hint. You have destroyed a beginner kingdom level Lord faction and collected 20% of the power of the Law of the End. The grade of the crown of the final has increased by another step. Current collection progress, 40%. The Lord of the Inn class hint. You have destroyed a beginner kingdom-level Lord faction and collected 100 points of final Nirvana power progress. You can use 100 points of final Nirvana power to exchange for a chance to revive after death and increase your strength greatly after revival. Current power of final Nirvana, 100 points. Current number of resurrections, 1. The Lord of the Inn class hint. You have conquered a beginner kingdom lord faction. A member of the final guard has received your summon. You can summon him. Number of final guard members, 2, can be summoned. Zhou Zhou looked at the notifications and could not help but smile. He did not come to the Aurora Kingdom for nothing. Not only did he receive an announcement on the Lord of Cerulean Planet, he also received an entire Aurora Kingdom. He also received 20% of the Law of the Inn collection progress, 1 revivals, and the loyalty of a final guard member. It was a huge profit. It seemed that these things could not only be obtained by destroying an entire country through war. He could also obtain them by directly taking over an entire kingdom. Soon, they arrived in front of the kingdom's treasury. Even though the Aurora Kingdom's treasury was not as technologically advanced and tightly guarded as the Taiyan Kingdom's mechanical treasury, its entire body was made of dark silver profound dipper stone. This treasure vault was actually made of profound dipper stones. On one hand, it could be seen how important the treasure vault was to the previous kings of the Aurora Kingdom. On the other hand, it could also be seen how deep the foundation of the Aurora Kingdom was. Even if the Aurora Kingdom had less than 10% of its national strength left, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. Li Yuangan used a key to unlock the door and asked 10 diamond tier soldiers to open the door together. The heavy door slowly opened with a loud bang. Seeing this, the 2 of them walked in. Zhou Zhou looked at the treasures in the treasure vault as he walked. Similar to the Taiyan treasure vault, this Aurora Kingdom treasure vault had mist core, equipment, blueprints, rare materials, skill books, scrolls, various pet eggs, and even specially refined pet equipment. Overall, it was slightly inferior to the Taiyan Kingdom. However, Zhou Zhou was not surprised. The Aurora Kingdom's national strength was inferior to the Taiyan Kingdom to begin with. Coupled with the fact that they were severely injured from the war, it was normal for there to be fewer treasures in the treasure vault. He put away the mist cores first. It was about the total value of 500 legendary tier mist cores. As for the other treasures, Zhou Zhou did not take them. He let Bai Yun come over later to take them all and send them back to the territory's treasure vault. A moment later, he came to an ancient-looking sheepskin map. Zhou Zhou looked at the map. This map displayed the regional map of the entire Aurora Kingdom. It covered all 40 regional territories in the entire Aurora Kingdom. Moreover, it was very complete in terms of terrain, resource distribution, military force distribution, and other map information. This map is well drawn. Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. Could it be that the Aurora Kingdom had a master cartographer? His gaze landed on a city called Cloud Gallop City, and he subconsciously focused his attention. The scene in front of him suddenly changed. Then, he realized that he had appeared in front of a ruined city. The city had already become a dilapidated ruin. Smoke filled the sky above the houses and shops. Hundreds of thousands of subjects were either saving people or looking for resources to use from the destroyed houses. Their homes had been destroyed, but many people's eyes were filled with determination. There was still hope for the future. Zhou Zhou heard the sounds of discussion. My hometown was destroyed by the monsters of the Taiyan nation. I wonder when my new home will be built. It will get better. The Taiyan kingdom has been destroyed. Our future will definitely be better than before. I heard that the person who destroyed the Taiyan kingdom was the legendary Lord of the Blazing Sun. He's no longer the Lord of the Blazing Sun. He's the king of the blazing sun of our human race. TSK, how unbelievable. How long has it been since he arrived on our high continent? He actually established a kingdom and even wiped out that cruel and despicable Taiyan kingdom. Not only that, but I also heard that the current king has long since intended to give up the throne to this king of the Blazing Sun Kingdom. It's said that even the princess greatly admires the king of the Blazing Sun Kingdom. If it's true, I hope that King of the Blazing Sun can let us live a better life." When Zhou Zhou heard these people's words, his gaze landed on a broken stone character that had fallen to the ground not far away. The word "cloud galloping" was half written on it. So, am I in Cloud Gallop City in reality now? The map brought me directly to Cloud Gallop City? Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. He walked to the subjects and realized that they couldn't see him at all. He tried to communicate and touch these subjects, but he realized that he could not do it either. In front of these subjects, his body seemed to be transparent and invisible. That's not right. I didn't come to Cloud Gallop City with my real body, but in the form of a consciousness. That's why these people can't hear me and can't touch me. Zhou Zhou quickly understood the reason. Was this the effect of that map? That map was actually such a magical treasure? Zhou Zhou was very surprised. King of the Blazing Sun. How does this great thousand rivers and mountains painting feel? At this moment, Li Yuangan's slightly amused voice came from the sky. Zhou Zhou realized. Only he could hear this voice. The other subjects could not. It's amazing, Zhou Zhou said sincerely. I also obtained this great thousand rivers and mountains painting by chance from a foreign vendor. It's very magical indeed. If you think about coming back now, you can return to reality, Li Yuangan said. Zhou Zhou's heart skipped a beat. The scene in front of him changed drastically. He had already returned to the Aurora Kingdom's treasury. Li Yuangan was looking at him with a smile. This great thousand rivers and mountains painting is a good treasure to observe the situation in my territory. Moreover, it will continuously increase the territory's range as the territory grows. In theory, the map of the entire high continent will appear on this great thousand rivers and mountains painting if you take control of it. However, when you use the great thousand rivers and mountains painting in the future, you have to pay attention to two things. When you use it to check the situation of the territory, if a powerhouse's perception is relatively sharp, they will sense you're spying. It's fine if we're on the same side, but you have to be careful if it's a powerful enemy. Also, if you use it often in the future, you can try to master the method of multitasking. This way, you can observe the situation on the map and pay attention to the situation in reality. Li Yuangan reminded. Thank you for your reminder, father-in-law. Zhou Zhou thanked him. We're family. There's no need to stand on ceremony. Li Yuangan smiled and shook his head. Zhou Zhou nodded. Then, his gaze landed on the great thousand rivers and mountains painting. He realized that the information displayed was exactly as Li Yuangan had said. Then, he put it into his king's treasure box. After that, he walked around the entire treasure vault and realized that there were about 20,000 treasures here. After confirming that there were no other treasures worth paying attention to, he walked out. Outside the treasure vault, Zhou Zhou looked at the great thousand rivers and mountains painting in the box and smiled. He felt that his trip was not in vain because of it. The only pity was that he did not find any advanced gem resources here. It seemed that it was just as Li Yuangan had said. He had already handed all the high-level gem resources to him. After we take care of the Netherbark Kingdom, we'll deal with the Titan Kingdom and obtain its advanced gem resources. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. Advanced gem resources were related to territory upgrades and kingdom upgrades. At the thought of this, Zhou Zhou opened the conditions to advance to an intermediate kingdom. Then he realized that among the many conditions, conquering 2 beginner kingdoms that were not under the Crimson Overlord had changed from 0/2 to 1/2. Let's not talk about the other conditions. In terms of conquering beginner kingdoms, I still need to conquer 2 beginner Crimson kingdoms and 1 beginner kingdom that is not under the command of the Crimson Overlord. Zhou Zhou thought to himself. This was not difficult for him. They would start with the Netherbark Kingdom first. Then, he asked Bai Yun to bring the soldiers to collect the treasures in the treasure vault while he and Li Yuangan returned to Zhongqian Hall. Then, Zhou Zhou called for help and called the Aurora Kingdom officials over again. A moment later, after everyone arrived, Zhou Zhou looked at everyone and said, This king has decided to abolish the Aurora Kingdom's kingdom structure and completely integrate it into the Blazing Sun Kingdom. When the ministers heard this, even though they were already mentally prepared, Many of them still looked disappointed. However, they also knew that this was inevitable. Otherwise, with the establishment of two kingdoms, even with a common lord like Zhou Zhou around, it would easily cause estrangement between the subject officials of the two countries. Therefore, no one had any objections. They all agreed respectfully. As for Li Yuangan, after hearing Zhou Zhou's decision, even though he was in a daze for a moment, he quickly returned to normal. He had already expected Zhou Zhou's decision and was not surprised. Zhou Zhou did not care about everyone's reaction. He directly stated his second decision. I will give the first order as your new king. By tomorrow night, I want to see all the lords in the records of the original Aurora Kingdom. I want to meet them and also take a look at their potential. If they have good potential and aptitude, this king will not be stingy with the rewards. Zhou Zhou said calmly. He naturally didn't give this order just to meet the original lords of the Aurora Kingdom. More importantly, he wanted the Lord Talent crystal fragments on them. Zhou Zhou already had enough Lord Talents on him. Naturally, he would not kill his subjects just to obtain a new Lord Talent. That way, if his reputation of killing talented subjects spreads in the future, he would not be able to have any living beings with talent and potential rely on him. He still cherished his reputation as a lord who had the ambition to fight for the lord of all races. However, he would not let go of a single Lord Talent crystal fragment. When the ministers heard this, they did not think that this reason was strange, so they agreed respectfully. Zhou Zhou nodded and told them that in the future, officials from the Blazing Sun Kingdom would come over to arrange their new places and positions. Then, under everyone's worried or expectant gazes, he left with Li Yuangan. Blazing Sun City. Beginner Grade Lord's Paradise. When Zhou Zhou and Li Yuangan returned, Leah happened to walk out of her room. The three of them looked at each other, and Leah was pleasantly surprised. King Father. She ran over to the two of them in surprise. Good daughter. Li Yuangan stroked his daughter's hair and said with a smile, I'll settle down in Blazing Sun City in the future. We will spend a lot more time together as father and daughter in the future. Also, don't call me King Father anymore. Just call me Dad. Li Yuangan smiled. Dad. Leah returned the smile. I. Zhou Zhou smiled and left the father and daughter. After bidding them farewell, he came to the lord's shop. At this moment, Zhou Qingmin was playing a game. Zhou Zhou did not think too much about it and shouted directly. Old Zhou merchandise. Unexpectedly, when Zhou Qingmin heard this, he turned to look at him bitterly. Then, he stood up and shook his head. Sigh, I was expecting too much. I thought someone would stay up all night playing games with me. I've played all night for nothing. I've already cleared Street Fist 5 times, but the person did not come. Zhou Zhou finally reacted. Holy *T. Did plan to be here to play games with this guy. In the end, after he came back last night to settle some matters, he went to sleep with Leah. After that, he was attempted assassination on by the god spirit and completely forgot about this matter. Ahem. I had too much to do last night, so I didn't have time to come to your place. Zhou Zhou explained. Zhou Qingmin nodded. He also knew that his lord had been attempted assassination on by a god spirit last night, but he did not really mind. He did not say much. He took out 3 items from under the counter and showed them to Zhou Zhou. Zhou Zhou looked at it. The first item was the talent crystal. Talent. Ignore pain. Talent effect. When you are in a pain that exceeds your endurance limit, you can enter a special state of resistance and ignore the pain until the pain decreases to a level that you can withstand. Isn't this Guo Xiao's talent? Zhou Zhou was a little surprised. He nodded and decided to buy it. He did not think that he was an Iron Man who could withstand any pain. In addition, he should more or less participate in some battles in the future. This talent was quite useful to him. Then, he looked at the other items. The second item was a heart. It emitted the aura of fire and destruction. Zhou Zhou looked at it. Bloodline name. Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction Bloodline. Bloodline level. Low-level deity advanced grade. Bloodline effect. After absorbing it, the user can obtain the bloodline of the Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction. After fusing with this bloodline, The user will gradually awaken the bloodline ability of the Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction during the growth process. Not bad. Zhou Zhou nodded. His Chaos human bloodline needed such a high-level bloodline as nutrients for his bloodline to improve. Then, he looked at the last item. What surprised Zhou Zhou was that the last item was also a bloodline. Furthermore, it was the bloodline of the extreme dragon race. TSK Tisk. I didn't expect to obtain two top-notch dragon bloodlines. Zhou Zhou was a little surprised, but then a smile appeared on his face. He was naturally satisfied with these two bloodlines. The only pity was, the bloodline and talent goods of the original spirit race that he wanted the most did not appear. That was the bloodline and talent of the top races in the myriad worlds. Once he could obtain it, his Chaos human bloodline level would definitely increase greatly. How much are these three goods? Zhou Zhou retracted his thoughts and asked. The bloodline of the Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction, an advanced grade deity, is worth 1,000 legendary tier mist cores and 1,000 legendary tier territory tokens. Low-level deity elementary grade extreme dragon race bloodline is worth 200 legendary tier mist cores and 200 legendary tier territory tokens. Zhou Qingmin said. This Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction's bloodline and the Extreme Dragon Race's bloodline are both at low-tier deity level. Why is there such a huge difference in their prices? Zhou Zhou had thought that his wallet was already generous enough. However, when he heard Zhou Qingmin's bid, he was still shocked. Good God! A portion of the Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction bloodline of an advanced grade deity was worth 2,000 legendary tier mist cores. Are you too crazy about the mist core? There's naturally a reason for the Supreme will to set such a price. Zhou Qingmin shook his head and pointed at the heart of the Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction. Even though the Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction's bloodline level is only at low-level deity advanced grade, there is still a trace of the power of the Divine Dragon of Destruction bloodline in the depths of its bloodline. The Dragon God of Destruction is of true God-tier advanced grade. No matter how small its bloodline is, others will buy it with true God-tier divine crystals. 2,000 legendary tier mist cores are at most equivalent to 2 divine crystals. In that case, it's really not expensive. Zhou Qingmin said with an expression that said, "You've made a killing." Zhou Zhou's mouth twitched a few times. Now that you mention it, it really didn't seem expensive. My guess. Don't think that I don't know about the proportion of the Destruction Dragon God's bloodline in Nazario's body. I've seen Nazario's attribute information a long time ago. This amount of Divine Dragon of Destruction bloodline only accounts for 1% of Nazario's total bloodline. And yet you're selling it at such an exorbitant price for such a small amount? Zhou Zhou was furious. However, he was also a little tempted by this 1% true God-tier bloodline. He hesitated for a moment and looked at his heavenly mist treasure bag. After this period of accumulation, he now had more than 8,000 legendary tier mist cores. It was not impossible to take out 2,000 of them to buy Nazario's bloodline. However, his heart ached. He hesitated for a long time. Only then did Zhou Zhou reluctantly take out 2,400 legendary tier mist cores and 20 extraordinary tier mist cores from the heavenly mist treasure bag to buy these 3 items. He looked at Zhou Qingmin, who had returned to his seat to play games. He hesitated for a moment and decided to come over today to play games with him. While he didn't know if this method would increase the probability of good products being produced tomorrow, he would treat it as entertainment. In any case, there was nothing to lose. Then, he took the goods and returned to the beginner-grade Lord's Paradise. He first fused with his talent, Ignore Pain. Then, he fused with these 2 dragon bloodlines. He looked at the bloodline fusion notification. You have absorbed a portion of the Dragon King of Volcano and Destruction's bloodline, low-level deity advanced grade. Your Chaos human bloodline has unearthed more potential and advanced to the extraordinary tier intermediate grade. Your 6 senses powers have been greatly enhanced. You have awakened Diamond tier advanced grade enhanceable Chaos human race talent, Elementary Chaos Heart. You have awakened the true God tier advanced grade Destruction Dragon God talent, Destruction Dragon Breath. You have awakened the true God tier advanced grade Destruction Dragon God talent, Fire Elemental Control, You have grasped part of the dragon god's secret inheritance. You have mastered the low-level deity advanced grade racial skill. All things burn. You have mastered the low-level deity advanced grade racial skill. Volcanic eruption. You have mastered a true god tier advanced grade law skill. Destructive power. Your master god tier physical immunity has increased from 3% to 5%. Your master god tier elemental immunity has increased from 3% to 5%. Your master god tier soul immunity has increased from 3% to 5%. You have absorbed one extreme dragon bloodline, low-level deity advanced grade. Your six senses have been slightly strengthened. You have awakened the talent of the extreme dragon race, low-level deity advanced grade, extreme dragon body. You have awakened the talent of the extreme dragon race, low-level deity advanced grade, extreme dragon power. You have grasped the secret inheritance of the extreme dragon race. Your master god tier physical immunity has increased from 5% to 7%. Your master god tier elemental immunity has increased from 5% to 7%. Your master god tier soul immunity has increased from 5% to 7%. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. It was not unreasonable for Nazario's bloodline to be so expensive. He actually directly upgraded his Chaos human race bloodline from Diamond tier intermediate grade to Extraordinary tier intermediate grade. Moreover, he had obtained the talents of 2 destruction dragon gods and a law skill. Not bad, not bad. It felt expensive, but he was in a better mood now. As for the extreme dragon bloodline, it was a little unsightly. After fusing with the extreme dragon bloodline, the Chaos human bloodline did not improve. Zhou Zhou shook his head and began to check the details of these abilities. The first was the Chaos human's racial talent, Elementary Chaos Heart. Race talent name, Elementary Chaos Heart. Talent level, Diamond tier advanced grade, enhanceable. Talent description, your comprehension and reaction ability have been greatly improved. You can easily comprehend professional abilities in various fields. Moreover, you have an extremely high comprehension ability of the laws of the world. Zhou Zhou raised his eyebrows. After the Chaos human bloodline level increased to Diamond tier advanced grade, it finally began to involve enlightenment. This was gradually compatible with the supreme comprehension described in the Chaos sacred body's ability. He looked at the next ability. Race talent name, Destruction Dragon Breath. Talent level, True God tier advanced grade. Talent description, you can release dragon breath with the aura of the law of destruction. Any substance that is attacked by the dragon breath of destruction will suffer irreversible damage. Prompt 1. As the Lord of the End, the power of the end that can end all things is surging in your body. So the power of the law of destruction contained in your destruction dragon breath has been greatly enhanced. Prompt 2. You have grasped the power of the weak law of destruction. Your crown of the final ability has been slightly enhanced. When Zhou Zhou saw this, he raised his eyebrows and opened the information about the crown of the final ability. Then, he realized that the crown of the final's first ability had been strengthened. Divine Artifact Ability 1, Power of the End. As the Lord of the End, the power of the end that can end all things surges in your body. When you attack any matter, you have a 10% chance of shattering it. When attacking any life form, you have a 1% chance of directly killing it. The probability of shattering has increased from 10% to 20%. It's doubled. Zhou Zhou was surprised. It seemed that the law of destruction and the law of the end were quite compatible. He looked at the next ability. Race talent name, Fire Elemental Control. Talent level, True God tier advanced grade, enhanceable. Talent description, your cultivation talent for fire elements is like the reincarnation of a fire god. There are very few life forms in the myriad worlds that can compare to you. You can easily comprehend fire elemental skill abilities and even have a certain chance of comprehending fire elemental nomological abilities. When you cultivate to the legendary tier advanced grade, you can easily condense a top-notch fire elemental godhood. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. He had found yet another way to become a god in the future. Then, he looked at the next race ability. Racial skill name, All Things Burn. Skill quality, Low-level deity advanced grade. Racial skill description, you are the monarch of the fire elemental. Under your command, everything in the world can be burned. Skill quality, low-level deity advanced grade. Racial skill description. You can summon a volcano out of thin air and cause it to erupt violently, destroying all the life forms in a zone. Law skill name, Law of Destruction. Law skill quality, True God tier advanced grade. Introduction to Law skill power. You have stepped into the threshold of the Law of Destruction and have grasped a trace of weak destructive power. When you use this destructive power to invade any substance, you can cause varying degrees of irreversible destruction to that substance. After Zhou Zhou saw the ability of the awakening of the Nazario bloodline, he looked at the other abilities of the Extreme Dragon bloodline. Race talent name, Extreme Dragon body. Talent level, low-level deity advanced grade. Talent description 1. Your physical strength and soul strength have greatly increased. You can also be immune to any negative statuses below your own strength level. It also has a certain resistance and weakening effect on debuffs that are higher than one's strength level. Talent description 2. You are immune to all instant death abilities. Race talent name, Power of the Extreme Dragon. Talent level, low-level deity advanced grade. Talent description. You have terrifying physical strength that is invincible among your peers. No living being of any race can compete with you in terms of strength among the myriad races in the myriad worlds. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. It had to be said. Even though the Extreme Dragon race only had 2 awakened racial talents, the talents of these 2 races could be said to be top grade. The former greatly increased the strength of his physical body and soul, and also gave him immunity to instant death-type damage. The Void Mask that Zhou Zhou had obtained in the past, Chapter 67, had a similar ability. However, that was still an external object. In the end, it was not as reliable as his own ability. As for the Extreme Dragon power, it also gave him terrifying power that was invincible among his peers. The Supreme Will said that no life form of the same level as him could compare to him in terms of strength after obtaining the power of the Extreme Dragon. This showed how terrifying this power was. After fusing the 3 items, Zhou Zhou did not waste any time and immediately arrived at the drill ground. Then, he saw the Blazing Sun Kingdom's army and the Star Alliance's lords and soldiers who were already prepared. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face seeing these 11 million people. With this power, he did not believe that the Netherbark Kingdom could withstand it. Today, our goal is still a kingdom. I won't waste my breath. Get on the spaceship. Let's go. After saying a few simple words, Zhou Zhou followed the soldiers onto Starry Night and flew in the direction of the Underworld Bark Kingdom. On the spaceship, Zhou Zhou was looking at the map of the Underworld Bark Kingdom. As the strongest kingdom among the 4 kingdoms, the Netherbark Kingdom had a huge territory. It had a total of 88 regional territories. Among them, there were 2 extraordinary tier regional territories, 8 diamond tier regional territories, 25 white platinum tier regional territories, and 51 yellow gold tier regional territories. There were not even any regional territories below the white silver tier. This was naturally fused by the Netherbark Kingdom with the Territory Fusion Certificate. However, it could be seen how rich the other party was to be able to fuse to such an extent. If we follow our route, the first place we reach will be a diamond tier territory called Nether River City. Zhou Zhou looked at the map and subconsciously began to think about how to fight later. However, he quickly reacted. How else could they fight? With his overwhelming number of troops, he could just crush them. Reporting to your majesty. Wu Tu requests an audience. At this moment, Wu Tu's voice came from outside the door. Enter. Zhou Zhou said. As the door creaked open, Wu Tu came in front of Zhou Zhou. His expression was solemn, causing Zhou Zhou to be taken aback. Without waiting for him to ask, Wu Tu directly explained the reason for his solemn expression. Your Majesty, my heavenly map army has just sent a secret report. The Pope of the Netherbark Kingdom, Floyd, feared our strength. Yesterday night, he secretly joined forces with 16 people of foreign races, including the Titan Kingdom, to deal with His Majesty together. 16 kingdoms? Zhou Zhou was also a little surprised. This number was indeed a little ridiculous. Was this guy that influential? Zhou Zhou raised his doubts. He naturally doesn't have that much appeal. However, he used the excuse that you rose too quickly and threw out the killing weapon of the race, the divine artifact. That's why these 16 people of foreign races decided to join forces to deal with us. Wu Tu said with a solemn expression. Are they all beginner kingdoms? Are there intermediate kingdoms or advanced kingdoms? How many troops have they gathered? Zhou Zhou quickly asked the question he wanted to know. All 16 kingdoms are beginner kingdoms. As for their military strength, according to my intelligence report, they gathered more than 15 million troops last night. Today, I'm afraid there will be more. Wu Tu said. Any other information? Not for a while. Explore and report.
Yes.
Wu Tu left. Zhou Zhou sat on the spot, deep in thought. In the end, he decided that even if the other party had a lot of troops, he had to bring all his subordinates to meet it. Firstly, since the other party had already joined forces, they would attack sooner or later. Since that was the case, there was actually no point in retreating now. Instead, it would expose his guilty attitude and make the other party even more arrogant. Secondly, even if he could not defeat the other party in the following battle, he had the means to retreat unscathed. Since that was the case, then he would test the other party's methods first. At the thought of this, Zhou Zhou stopped thinking and continued to order Wanya to advance towards the Netherbark Kingdom. A moment later, at the border of the Netherbark Kingdom, Diamond Tier Territory, Nether River City, Zhou Zhou and company arrived on a spaceship. Looks like these people of foreign races are already prepared. Zhou Zhou looked at Nether River City and said faintly. In his perception, there were at least 5 million people of foreign races in Nether River City. In the past, such a military force was considered the entire Netherbark Kingdom's military force. Under such circumstances, either the other party knew that he was coming here, so they had gathered here early. But that was obviously unlikely. This was because Zhou Zhou had also decided to start a war here at the last minute. That left only one possibility. Floyd of the Underworld Bark Kingdom had long expected that he would bring his troops to attack, so he had long arranged for the huge troops under his command to be arranged in the border cities with the other people of foreign races. Just Nether River City alone had 5 million people of foreign races stationed there. At the same time, Nether River City also seemed to have discovered the Blazing Sun Kingdom's spaceship hidden in space. A large number of soldiers from the people of foreign races either rushed out of the city gate, flew out of the city, or burrow underground. In the blink of an eye, the sky and ground of Nether River City were filled with dense soldiers of the people of foreign races. They looked warily in the direction of Zhou Zhou and the others, as if they were ready to fight at any time. This was not the end. Zhou Zhou noticed that the light of the teleportation array in Nether River City was constantly lighting up. A vast number of soldiers of the people of foreign races were walking out of the teleportation array in an endless stream. Then, they quickly replenished the troops here, causing the number of troops gathered in Nether River City to increase. 6 million, 7 million, 8 million, 9 million. In less than a moment, a total of 10 million soldiers of the people of foreign races were gathered in Nether River City. This was not the end. An endless stream of people of foreign race soldiers were still walking out of the teleportation array. Zhou Zhou was not afraid. Instead, he smiled faintly. He asked Wenya to get the Starry Night to leave the spatial concealment state and appear in front of these people of foreign race soldiers openly. Then, he called Suan, Guoqiao, and Qi Xintian out of the spaceship and floated in the sky, looking down at the soldiers of the people of foreign races. "You're the king of the blazing sun?" he said calmly. His voice was filled with arrogance. "Floyd." Zhou Zhou looked at it. Then, his gaze landed on the more than 10 million people of foreign race soldiers around him. "You're making a big scene," he said. "It's all because of you. We can spare your life if you hand over the race's divine artifact, Lucky Star, and give up your status as a lord. Otherwise, this will become the place where you and your soldiers die." Floyd stared at Zhou Zhou and said. After saying that, he waved his right hand. A total of 23 existences emitting the aura of heroes flew out of the people of Foreign Race Alliance and came behind Floyd. They looked at Zhou Zhou with different expressions. They were either impatient, cold, strange, or greedy. Why are you talking so much nonsense with him? Just kill him and take the race divine artifact from him. The robe he's wearing that exudes the aura of an emperor is not bad. I'll take it later. That sword seems to be a divine artifact of the race, but it seems to be a divine artifact of the human race. Even though it's useless to our race, it's not bad to collect it. Such a perfect human body. I want his corpse. He should have a celestial appearance. Such a top-grade body is worth a lot of mist cores. They discussed animatedly. Judging from their attitudes, they had already treated Zhou Zhou as theirs. Do you see it? They're all heroes. Every one of them is an existence that can leave their name in the history of the race. You can't win. Surrender early so you don't have to suffer too much, Floyd said calmly. It knew that the King of the Blazing Sun had tens of millions of soldiers. If they fought, even if it was 100% confident that it could win, it would probably lose a lot. Therefore, it wanted to use this method to minimize its losses. Zhou Zhou looked at it calmly. Are they taking him for a fool? If he dared to do that, he would definitely die faster than anyone else. Moreover, it was not certain who would win. He did not say anything and let all the soldiers fly out of the spaceship through the army interface. Seeing this scene, Floyd's expression darkened. And then, it waved its right hand. The next second, countless bows, arrows, cannonballs, long-range elemental spells, and all kinds of long-range attacks shot towards the spaceship. It actually wanted to use this period of time to attack Zhou Zhou's soldiers. When Zhou Zhou saw this scene, he flipped his right hand, and a circular light barrier that emitted a black and white light appeared in his hand. It was the treasure he had obtained from the Taiyan Kingdom, Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier. The next second, Zhou Zhou threw the Sun and Moon Sky Barrier into the sky. Right on the heels of that, the Sun and Moon Sky Barrier suddenly enlarged. In the blink of an eye, it covered the sky and covered a radius of 10 kilometers, enveloping Zhou Zhou, the spaceship, and the soldiers. The tens of millions of long-range attacks released by Floyd's side landed on the Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier. In the end, they were stunned. After these tens of millions of attacks landed on the Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier, they only caused layers of weak ripples on its surface. It could not even break a small hole. When the 23 heroes of the people of Foreign Race saw this, they also frowned. They also attacked, but the strongest among them was only an epic-tier elementary-grade hero. Even though their attacks were also useful, they were not very effective against the Sun and Moon Sky Barrier that could resist the attacks of legendary-tier elementary grade. This is the Taiyan Kingdom's national treasure, Sun and Moon Heavenly Barrier. Floyd, who was watching the battle at the side, quickly recognized what this light barrier was. His expression immediately darkened. It had been enemies with the Taiyan Kingdom for hundreds of years, so it knew this information. It just did not expect that the King of the Blazing Sun did not keep such a treasure to protect his territory. He actually used it as a battlefield. It waved its hand to stop the soldiers' useless attacks. At the same time, Zhou Zhou looked at the people of Foreign Race Alliance army below who had stopped attacking and sneered. You're done. My turn. He called Linger, Nongqinglin, and the other 15 lords who were before the contribution ranking test in the Star Alliance over. Then, they used Insight Defection on the people of Foreign Race Alliance army below. A text notification appeared. Please choose the enemy lord faction you want to incite defection. 1. Taiyan Kingdom. 2. Titan Kingdom. 3. Ghost Lair Kingdom. 4. Rhoda Kingdom. 5. Flame Spirit Kingdom. Zhou Zhou did not hesitate and chose the Taiyan Kingdom, which was ranked first. The next second, boom. An invisible fluctuation instantly emitted from the hands of Zhou Zhou and the other 17 lords. In the blink of an eye, it covered all the people of foreign races on the ground. At this moment, the expression in the eyes of the people of Foreign Race Alliance army, which had already reached more than 22 million, instantly changed under the effect of Insight Defection. roar, howl, ha, kill, for his majesty the blazing sun. In an instant, more than 2 million soldiers of the people of foreign race suddenly began to kill wantonly in the people of foreign race alliance army. The originally imposing people of foreign race alliance army instantly fell into chaos. What happened? Why are our soldiers fighting among themselves? What happened? The heroes of the people of foreign races were stunned. Floyd suddenly remembered. In the information it had read previously, it had indeed seen that the King of the Blazing Sun seemed to have some bewitching methods. However, it did not expect that this bewitching method was actually so powerful. Its alliance of more than 20 million people of foreign races was actually affected. D****. All soldiers, listen up. At this moment, those who are fighting among themselves are treated as enemies. Kill them all and protect my soldier aura. However, it also knew that for such a thing to happen, it was definitely impossible for them to maintain their previous morale. Ned King of the Blazing Sun. It gritted its teeth and looked at the King of the Blazing Sun in the sky. In the sky, Zhou Zhou looked at the Insight Defection notification in front of him. Lord Talent notification. A total of 204,561 Black Iron Tier Kobold soldiers, 155,415 Green Bronze Tier Kobold Elite, 115,410 White Silver Tier Kobold Centurions, 79,960 Yellow Gold Tier Kobold Millennium, 51,650 White Platinum Tier Kobold Bosses, 12,220 Diamond Tier Kobold Deputy Generals, and 207 Extraordinary Tier Kobold Generals have betrayed their lord's faction and become your loyal subordinates. Zhou Zhou nodded slightly. Insight Defection had 617,423 Kobold soldiers. Not bad. Linger and the others' gains should be quite huge. After all, this was an alliance of more than 22 million people of foreign races. With their 8% Insight Defection rate, they could instigate at least 1.4 million people of foreign race soldiers. Soon, the soldiers on their side flew out of the spaceship. Some landed on the ground, while some soldiers, such as the Violent Storm Spirit, Machina race soldiers, dragons, and other soldiers who could fly, flew in the sky and looked coldly at the people of Foreign Race Alliance army. The number of soldiers in the people of Foreign Race Alliance was twice that of Zhou Zhou's side. However, from the aura alone, they were slightly superior to Zhou Zhou's. Firstly, even though Zhou Zhou had very few soldiers under his command, the average strength of the soldiers was much higher than the other party with the help of the blessing of the war god. Secondly, Zhou Zhou had a terrifying creature like the dragon race to hold the line. As a mythical tier legendary dragon, just flying in the sky gave the other party immense pressure. At the same time, Zhou Zhou's heart skipped a beat when he saw his soldiers come out. The next second, the sun and moon heavenly barrier that had protected them previously expanded further, encompassing a vast range of 50 kilometers. Then, Zhou Zhou directly activated the sun and moon heavenly barrier, allowing his soldiers to receive an additional 30% increase in strength and 30% damage reduction. At the same time, he willed again. 2 grayish-white auras surged out of his glabella and formed 2 more than 2 meters tall final guard members in front of him. One of them was holding a gun. It was the final guard member, Jiang Yuan. The other person carried a set of grayish-white bows and arrows on his back. His name was Lian. After awakening in the Aurora Kingdom, he was Zhou Zhou's second final guard member. He was good at using bows and arrows, and his soldier type was the arrow of destruction. The two of them, one close combat and the other long range, could complement each other. "Greetings, Your Majesty," the two of them said respectfully. "In a while, protect me by my side and attack on my orders." Zhou Zhou said, "Yes, Your Majesty." The two of them said calmly and came behind Zhou Zhou. At the same time, Floyd's side had also resolved the civil war problem. Nearly 2 million soldiers who were fighting among themselves were all killed. However, the price also made their hearts ache. As it happened so suddenly and they were not prepared, they lost more than 5 million companions because of the killing desire of more than 2 million traitors. Originally, They had more than 22 million alliance soldiers. In the end, after this internal strife, it directly reduced the number of these 22 million soldiers to more than 15 million. Every hero of the people of foreign race had an obvious pained expression on their faces. They did not expect this either. The war had yet to begin. They had lost a third of their troops. At the same time, they were terrified. Such an unreasonable method of bewitching the morale of the army was really too terrifying. The King of the Blazing Sun was indeed not lucky to be able to obtain the title of the strongest lord of all races from the lords of all races in the previous event. At this moment, they saw Zhou Zhou envelop them with the sun and moon heavenly barrier. They were delighted. Does this guy have a death wish? Even if their soldiers suffered heavy losses, the remaining soldiers far exceeded them. With more than 20 heroes, wouldn't it be easy to defeat them? At the thought of this, Floyd no longer hesitated and directly ordered the army to attack Zhou Zhou and the others. Zhou Zhou did not waste his breath and gave the order to start attacking. Kill! Kill these people of foreign races. For the King of the Blazing Sun. Long live the fire spirit. The Tsanghan Kingdom will definitely win. The god of death protects me. Nearly 27 million life forms shouted crazily and rushed towards each other. All 23 heroes of the people of foreign races all participated in the battle. The 10 heroes on Zhou Zhou's side also participated in the battle. The battle became white-hot as soon as the two sides came into contact. As soon as they came into contact, the expressions of Zhou Zhou's soldiers changed slightly. Fear that had never appeared on the faces of many soldiers. Fortunately, there were heroes who were confident in controlling the morale of the crowd control. Nothing happened to Zhou Zhou's soldiers. They could still maintain their combat strength and continue fighting with all their might. In the sky, Zhou Zhou frowned as he looked at the notification in front of him. An official battle has been discovered. Battle mode has been activated. Virtual battlefield has been established. Battle points are being calculated. Prompt. After the battle ends, the Army's battle point function will be calculated and obtained a corresponding number of battle points according to the performance of the Blazing Sun Army, the Monster Army, the Dragon God Army, and the Heavenly Two Army. When there are enough battle points, you can increase the level of the army and unlock the upgrade of more army functions. What made Zhou Zhou frown was not this text notification, but the next text notification. You have launched an offensive on the Beginner Kingdom, Netherbark Kingdom, which is under the protection of the god of death Thanatos. The god of death Thanatos has lowered his gaze. You and your soldiers have been cursed by the god of death. Death curse. When you and your soldiers fight, your fear of death will uncontrollably increase. The longer you fight, the more afraid you will be of death. Is this why the other kingdoms didn't dare to attack the Netherbark Kingdom all these years? Zhou Zhou frowned and muttered. Zhou Zhou frowned slightly as he looked at the curse of the god of death. Actually, it was very simple to resolve the curse of the god of death. That was to let his soldiers use the Dragon Slayer ability. The Dragon Slayer was the enemy of a noble bloodline. They were extremely immune to any ability of a noble bloodline. Bloodline. God spirits were undoubtedly a type of noble bloodline. This way, his soldiers were naturally immune to the fear of death. However, the price he had to pay was that his territory was the dragon-slaying hometown. It was very likely to be exposed. If he didn't expose himself, he was only going against these kingdom-level lord factions of the people of foreign races in front of him. Once he was exposed, he would probably immediately become enemies with all the noble bloodline races in the myriad worlds. At the thought of this, Zhou Zhou suppressed the urge to unleash his Dragon Slayer ability. Let's try. Perhaps I can get my soldiers to resist this curse even without the ability of the Dragon Slayer. Zhou Zhou thought. He quickly thought about it. Then, he suddenly thought of something and his eyes lit up. Then, he immediately contacted an existence. At the same time, in the People of Foreign Race Alliance Army, when Floyd saw fear appear on the soldiers of the Blazing Sun Kingdom from time to time, a smile immediately appeared on his face. All heroes and soldiers of the Allied Army. The enemy has officially fought us and is affected by my lord's God's curse. Next, they will suffer the fear of death at all times, and less than 10% of their combat strength will survive. Victory is in front of us. Kill these detestable humans. It shouted. As soon as he finished speaking, all the soldiers of the People of Foreign Race Alliance Army suddenly became excited, and their morale clearly soared. Seeing this scene, Bai Yun, Wu Xian, and Luo Sheng had ugly expressions. The three of them had mastered the two hero skills, desired military morale and ghost god military morale, which controlled the morale of the army. Originally, these two hero skills were very suitable for the current situation. Unfortunately, they encountered the curse of the god of death. Facing a master god tier curse, even if it was casually given by that master god tier and its strength was not even 1/1000th of his peak, it was not something the three of them, who were not even at the legendary tier, could eliminate. At most, they could barely suppress it, allowing the soldiers to barely unleash their usual combat strength. However, he could not avoid being in a daze from time to time because of his fear of death. On the battlefield, this trance was fatal. However, just as everyone was worried, an accident happened. Immeasurable light appeared behind them and quickly expanded, covering all the soldiers of the Blazing Sun Kingdom in the blink of an eye. Originally, the soldiers were still barely enduring the fear of death. However, when this light illuminated them, they immediately felt the fear in their hearts sweep away, and they no longer felt any fear. They, who were not afraid, recovered their peak combat strength and fighting spirit again. In less than a moment, they snatched back the victory on the battlefield and began to gradually devour the People of Foreign Race Alliance Army. Seeing this scene, Floyd and the 23 heroes were shocked. Why did this group of Blazing Sun soldiers' combat strength suddenly increase by a level? Floyd, where's the curse of the god of death of your Netherbark kingdom? Why isn't it working? This is going to be difficult. The heroes who were fighting fiercely realized that the situation was wrong. They sent a voice transmission to Floyd while diverting their attention to deal with the soldiers and heroes of the Blazing Sun Kingdom in front of them. If you don't know, do I know? Floyd cursed in his heart when he heard their doubtful questions. Then, it narrowed its eyes and looked at the source of the endless light. Soon, it saw the figures of a human and a dragon standing at the source of the light. Among them, the human figure was the king of the blazing sun that it was very afraid of. As for the dragon figure, Floyd frowned. Light spirit dragon? I think so. However, why was it different from the light spirit dragon it had seen in books? It did not think too much about it, and only thought that the other party was a variant of the light spirit dragon. In addition, it also knew why the other party could break the curse of the god of death of their Netherbark kingdom. Law skill. Moreover, it's a light element law skill that dispels. Floyd gritted his teeth. No wonder the god of death's curse was useless against them. The soldiers of the Blazing Sun Kingdom had an increasing advantage on the battlefield. Floyd's originally calm heart gradually could not calm down. Kill. Kill the king of the Blazing Sun. As long as the king of the Blazing Sun dies, victory will still be ours. Floyd thought for a moment and suddenly shouted. A murderous glint flashed across the eyes of the 23 heroes of the Allied forces. They did not say anything else. 13 of the heroes directly repelled the enemy in front of them. Then, they turned into 13 streams of light of different colors and shot towards Zhou Zhou. As for the remaining 10 heroes, they were stopped by Zhou Zhou's 10 heroes. My lord, be careful. When Bai Yun, Wu Xian, and the others saw this scene, they wanted to give up on the hero opponent of the People of Foreign Race in front of them and support Zhou Zhou. However, these heroes of the People of Foreign Race naturally would not agree and tried their best to stop them from protecting their lord. They also knew that if they let Bai Yun and the others go over and protect their king, they would probably lose this battle. If the king of the Blazing Sun was killed by them, then even if they could not say that they would definitely win this battlefield, their chances of winning would definitely increase greatly. Bai Yun and the others could not help but feel anxious when they saw that they were stopped. At this moment, Focus on the enemy in front of you. Don't worry about me. Zhou Zhou's calm voice sounded in the hearts of the generals. Even though the heroes were a little worried, they calmed down a lot after hearing their emperor's calm voice. Since His Majesty said so, he must have the confidence to protect him. Then he would listen to His Majesty. At the thought of this, even though everyone was still a little worried, they began to focus on dealing with the enemy in front of them. In the sky, the 13 heroes of the people of foreign race charged at Zhou Zhou with ferocious and arrogant expressions. This human king must die. Without your tens of millions of soldiers and the protection of your heroes, who will die if you don't die? Haha, this human king is actually standing in the air in a daze. Could it be that he's scared silly? The heroes of the people of foreign races were extremely confident. They did not believe that this human lord could escape from them at all. At this moment, they seemed to see victory in their hands. The spear of destruction, Jiang Yuan, who had been silently staying behind Zhou Zhou, flew out and blocked in front of them. The 13 heroes of the people of foreign races chuckled when they saw this. A human who was only an extraordinary tier elementary grade actually dared to stop them? They ignored him. However, just as they were about to fly past Jiang Yuan, whoosh, 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 for cold lights streaked across the faces of the 4 heroes of the people of foreign race, leaving 4 deep wounds on their faces. The 4 injured heroes touched the wounds on their faces and were furious. Tiny ants actually dared to hurt them? Maybe. The human king might have been killed long ago by the time they finished dealing with this human soldier. They did not waste any time and fought Jiang Yuan immediately. However, as soon as they fought, they knew that they were wrong. This human soldier was definitely not an ordinary extraordinary tier soldier. His unparalleled spearmanship, dazzling movement techniques, subtleties, meticulous observation, they had all forcefully stopped the 4 extraordinary tier heroes of the people of foreign race with their strength. In addition, there was a soldier emitting the same aura behind him. From time to time, he would shoot arrows to assist, making it difficult for them to advance further. What surprised the 4 of them the most was that they actually felt the power of laws on the marksmanship and arrows of these 2 strange human soldiers. Moreover, it was an extremely dangerous and strange power of laws. It was as if once it was triggered, they would either be injured or die. This made them both shocked and afraid, and they could only unleash most of their strength. Who would have thought that these 2 ordinary-looking human soldiers actually grasped a law ability that even they could not master? In addition, was this human lord the son of destiny? There were not only so many heroes and soldiers loyal to him at this stage. Even genius soldiers who had mastered the laws were willing to be his guards? One had to know that such talented soldiers could be nurtured as future heroes in their country. Their expressions were ugly. However, they had to accept the fact that the 4 extraordinary tier heroes were stopped by 2 soldiers. Now, they could only hope that the other 9 heroes of the people of foreign race could kill that detestable human king. At the thought of this, they could not help but look up in the direction of the human king. And then, in front of the human king, a young and handsome human man in ancient clothes stood in the air, carrying an immortal sword that emitted a faint 5-colored light on his back, blocking the path of the 9 heroes of the people of foreign race. These 9 heroes of the people of foreign races actually seemed to feel some great terror when facing this human who was clearly not a hero in front of them. They did not dare to take a step forward. I'm from the Myriad Sword Immortal Sect, Qi Shintian. Are you here to die? Qi Shintian was not afraid at all when facing the 9 heroes of the people of foreign race. Instead, he said coldly, this behavior of completely disregarding the heroes of the people of foreign races immediately angered them. You're not even a hero. How dare you be arrogant here? Your flesh must taste delicious. Don't stop me. I'm going to kill this guy. He really makes me unhappy. The 9 heroes of the people of foreign race said angrily, don't be confused by him. He's here to stall for time. Don't forget the business. We have to deal with that human king first. Otherwise, we won't get much rewards even if we win this battle once the army we brought suffers heavy losses. A hero of the people of foreign race said calmly. The other 8 heroes also calmed down and nodded. "I'll go deal with that human lord." At this moment, a Titan clan hero, more than 100 meters tall with a bloody mouth, said. It was the gold-smashing demon mace, Otis, one of the heroes from the Titan kingdom. At this moment, it looked at Zhou Zhou in the sky with a look of aggro in its eyes. "My brother, the Ironfang king, Siphon, was killed by the subordinate of this human king. I want to kill that human lord with my own hands and avenge my brother," Otis said with aggro. The other 8 heroes of the people of foreign race did not stop him. Similarly, they did not mention the idea of adding another person to kill the king of the blazing sun. The human in front of them gave them a very strange feeling. He was clearly not a hero. However, it gave them a pressure that was even more terrifying than heroes. It was as if they were not facing an ordinary human but a god spirit. Facing such a strange human, they did not dare to disperse too much strength to do anything else. Seeing this, Otis did not say anything else and flew towards Zhou Zhou. Qi Shintian was about to stop it, but at this moment, his expression changed and he stopped stopping it, letting it leave. Then, he looked at the 8 heroes of the people of foreign race in front of him calmly. Qi Shintian willed. A divine sword as red as jade gradually appeared above his head. This was a divine sword that had accompanied him since he was born, the Scarlet Mystic Immortal Sword. This immortal sword had accompanied him since he was born. Now, it has already grown into a true immortal tier immortal sword, low-tier deity level. With a thought, the Scarlet Mystic Immortal Sword heart transformed into 100,000. It gathered behind him into a huge blood-red immortal sword that was 5 kilometers long. There were countless mysterious blood-red immortal seals on the immortal sword. Tiny blood-red sword chi that seemed to be alive were born and destroyed on the sword, proving its vast power. It was Qi Shuantian's strongest sword formation, the Myriad Sword Immortal Formation. Back then, he had relied on this Myriad Sword Immortal Formation to kill a low-level deity elementary grade expert head-on. Today, this is where you will die. Qi Shintian looked at the 8 heroes of the people of foreign race. His voice was like a sword immortal in the sky, and his divine might was like a prison. On the other side, Zhou Zhou was looking calmly at the gold-smashing demon mace, Otis, which was rushing towards him. A text notification appeared. Name: Otis. Hero title: Gold-smashing demon mace. Position: Epic tier heroes fate level. Territory: Titan Kingdom. Strength level: Epic tier elementary grade. Introduction: one of the 5 heroes of the Titan Kingdom. His elder brother was the Ironfang King, Siphon. The 2 brothers had a deep relationship. However, with Siphon's death, Otis only had the desire for revenge in his heart. It was born with divine strength and was good at using a pair of gold-smashing demon mace. With the enhancement of its divine power, its power was extremely terrifying. It had once relied on its twin maces to hammer an epic-tier advanced grade Scarlet Lord to death. The Titans in the country regarded it as a symbol of strength. Loot's drop rate: 20 epic-tier mist cores, drop rate 100%, 1,000 origin crystals, drop rate 100%, 1 epic-tier elementary grade hero skill, divine power giant, drop rate 8%, 1 epic-tier elementary grade heroic skill, spirit roar soul shattering, drop rate 8%, 1 epic-tier elementary grade equipment, gold smashing demon mace, drop rate 12%, 1 epic-tier elementary grade, black elemental demon armor, drop rate 8%, 1 epic-tier elementary grade skill book fight to the death, drop rate 8%, 1 believer scarlet crystals, drop rate 3%, 1 epic-tier elementary grade hero inheritance secret manual, drop rate 0.001%, 3 black iron tier lord talent crystal fragments, drop rate 0%. He had just finished reading when Otis had already arrived more than 10 meters in front of him. Die! A furious roar. At the same time, Otis used its hero skill, Spirit Roar Soul Shattering. This move was specially targeted at the soul. Those who came into contact with this move head-on would either lose their consciousness or their souls would die. However, Zhou Zhou's expression was calm when facing this hero skill, as if he was not affected at all. His mental potential had long reached the special mental potential of an epic tier advanced grade. He was also proficient in many soul attacks and defense methods. Previously, he had even absorbed the Titan race's bloodline and obtained the Titan race's race talent, Roar Spirit Devour. He understood its attack method and solution. Most importantly, as a Chaos human, his soul will had long been converted into Chaos will. He had a higher chance of being immune to such attacks like illusion confusion, mental manipulation, and soul attacks. Therefore, this aggressive hero skill. He did not even defend much and passed it. And this scene shocked Otis. His hero skills were actually useless against this human king. How was this possible? It could not accept this result. Therefore, it prepared to release its second hero skill. However, at this moment, it suddenly saw the human raise his right hand. Chaotic aura spread from his palm and gradually condensed into a chaotic spear. Chaos Dao Technique, Chaos Flying Spear Technique. Zhou Zhou threw a toss gently and saw the chaos spear suddenly disappear as if it had transmigrated. The next second, it was already floating behind Otis with drops of blood. Otis looked at the huge hole in its chest in disbelief. Then, its aura quickly disappeared and finally returned to nothingness. Gold-smashing demon mace. Otis. Dead. A text notification appeared. You have killed epic tier elementary grade gold-smashing demon mace. Otis. You have obtained plus 400 million promotion energy. Loots condensed. Blessing of the War God. You have obtained an additional 32 billion promotion energy points. You have obtained your first hero biography. Please work hard to obtain more hero biographies and forge your own hero fate level slot. A smile appeared on Zhou Zhou's face. Good God. A total of 32.4 billion promotion energy points. As expected of the epic tier Lord talent, Blessing of the War God. Killing an epic tier elementary grade was comparable to killing 81 epic tier elementary grade experts. He was stunned when he saw the next text notification. This shock quickly turned into joy. I've obtained a hero biography. He immediately opened his personal information and looked at the bottom. There it was. Hero Biography 1. When facing the siege of the People of Foreign Race Alliance, formed by 18 people of foreign race kingdoms, the King of the Blazing Sun killed a hero of the People of Foreign Race Kingdom who launched a sneak attack with just one strike. Hero's personal reputation rating plus 20, human race reputation plus 100,000, high continent reputation plus 5. Zhou Zhou nodded in satisfaction. Not bad. This gave him a lot of reputation and fame. However, it turned out that even ordinary people who were not heroes could obtain a hero biography after killing heroes of the people of foreign races. In that case, he could completely take this opportunity to kill wantonly. There were so many heroes of the people of foreign races. He should be able to achieve his hero fate level slot as long as he killed 4 to 5 of them, right? Zhou Zhou had never thought of not being able to kill them. After the experiment just now, he completely understood one thing. They were the Chaos Flying Spear technique from the Chaos Origin Manual and the other 5 Chaos Dao techniques. Actually, it was essentially a law skill. Or rather, it was a law skill and also a chaotic Dao technique. That made sense. The Chaos humans born in the beginning of the world were originally born in the chaos. The enemy they were facing might be called a chaos beast, but they were actually special god spirits who had grasped the laws. Under such circumstances, only law skills, or chaotic Dao techniques, could deal with the chaos beasts. At that time, the chaos humans had probably never thought that their every move at that time was already filled with the profundities of the laws. It had been circulating until now and had already become a law skill that countless life forms had tried their best to comprehend. He retracted his wandering thoughts. Zhou Zhou condensed another chaos spear in his hand. Then, his gaze landed on the hero of the people of foreign race who was fighting his subordinates below. With his current extraordinary tier elementary grade strength and the Chaos Dao technique, it was not a problem for him to kill an epic tier elementary grade hero. Which meant, none of the heroes of the people of foreign races present could withstand a single strike from him. However, looking at the battlefield in front of him, his expression gradually became surprised. This was because at this moment, in his eyes, his 11 heroes were actually fighting back and forth with the 23 heroes of the people of foreign races, especially Qi Xiantian, a sword cultivator. This sword Dao expert with the heavenly sword immortal body was actually suppressing 8 heroes of the people of foreign race with the help of the 10,000-kilometer-long myriad sword immortal formation. This person had yet to become a hero. If he became a hero, wouldn't his combat strength increase several times? Seeing that there was no problem with Qi Xiantian, Zhou Zhou looked at the other heroes. Finally, his gaze landed on someone. It was his Machina race clone, Ultimate Lord Zhou Zhou. At this moment, this guy was being beaten back by a monster hero with 6 eyes and 4 arms and a blue body using 4 different arms. If not for the mechanical army and the dragons supporting him, he would probably have long been blown up and returned to his soul space, waiting to condense his mechanical body again. It's still too difficult for a yellow gold tier elementary grade to face an extraordinary tier intermediate grade hero of the people of foreign race. Zhou Zhou shook his head. The energy required for the ultimate lord, Zhou Zhou, to advance was not much less than his. Therefore, it was quite difficult to advance. Fortunately, with the blessing of the epic tier master god tier, his strength should increase greatly in the future. There was no hesitation. Zhou Zhou waved his right hand, and the chaos spear in his hand instantly disappeared. The next second, it had already passed through the head of the hero of the people of foreign race and forcefully crushed it into dust, appearing behind it. You have killed the extraordinary tier intermediate grade king of berserkers, Losant. You have received plus 80 million promotion energy. Loots condensed. Blessing of the war god. You have obtained an additional 6.4 billion promotion energy points. You have obtained a hero biography. Please work hard to obtain more hero biographies and forge your own hero fate level slot. Zhou Zhou opened his hero biography and realized that there was indeed an additional hero biography that killed a hero from the people of foreign race. He could not help but smile. Perhaps he could obtain his own hero fate level slot today. Thinking about it, he was really looking forward to it. On the other side, the ultimate lord, Zhou Zhou, was not surprised to see the hero of the people of foreign race who had beaten him until he could not counterattack. He called for 20 Machina race soldiers and carried the corpse of the hero of the people of foreign race to Zhou Zhou's side. He threw the corpse to Zhou Zhou and he put it away with the king's treasure box. With the technology and Machina race soldiers I have now, I can't face a battlefield of this level. After today, I plan to make a trip to the Divine Arms Lord through the Alliance Master's spatial teleportation array. His territory is close to a Machina race kingdom. That place is filled with a large number of Machina life forms, mechanical materials, and technological knowledge inheritances. The ultimate lord, Zhou Zhou, said, "Sure. How many people do you plan to bring?" Zhou Zhou had long had this thought. I'll just bring more than 30,000 Machina race soldiers with me. The others are not soldiers of the Machina race. It's too much of an eyesore to go to the Machina kingdom. Oh yes. I have to bring an original Starry Night spaceship with me when I go. The original Starry Night carries the weight of my friendship with the Machina race. It will be very useful to my development if I bring it to the Machina race. The ultimate lord, Zhou Zhou, said. Zhou Zhou nodded and agreed. It was also time for the Lord Talent, gift of the Machina, to unleash its obscure effect. In the past, it was more or less overkill to use its spaceship as a troop transportation tool because of its strength. Now, he would use it to communicate with the Machina race's diplomacy. Only then could they unleash their true meaning. Then, the ultimate lord did not give up on the battle. Instead, he did not face the heroes of the people of foreign races. He led his soldiers and began to wander around the edge of the battlefield, killing the soldiers of the people of foreign races below him. With his yellow gold tier elementary grade strength and the Machina race soldiers, it was naturally easy for him to do such a thing. Zhou Zhou condensed another chaos flying spear and swept his gaze across the battlefield, waiting for an opportunity to attack. Even though the chaotic spear needed to consume a lot of chaotic origin energy in his body, the foundation of the chaos human was too strong. With the remaining chaotic origin energy in his body, it was not a problem to use another 5 to 6 chaotic spear techniques.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.